We are in the middle of a series on spiritual formation, spiritual growth. And it's called God Shapes Us. And it's deliberately called that because in our spiritual formation, as we deepen our spiritual lives, as we grow, God is the one who is the primary worker in that relationship. Now, of course, it matters what we do, right? It matters what we do. It's important what we do. But it's always, I think, critical to recognize that God is the one who's the primary actor, and that we trust that God is going to shape us into the people that God has designed us to be. Really into the people that we already are. You know, we have all this junk that kind of clutters that vision of the beautiful, beloved, amazing people that we are. We have these things that hold us back, these attitudes, these sins, these addictions. We have these things that hold us back, but those things are not really us, and God is getting rid of those. And that's what happens as God shapes us. Now, forgive me, but I have to kind of use this analogy today. So, when you're watching TV and people are talking about the game that's coming up, a lot of the people say Tom Brady and the Patriots. Have you heard people say that? Heard that on TV? Tom Brady and the Patriots. Now, I don't know much about football, but it seems to me that Brady is on the team. Right? They don't just fly him in once a year to Atlanta to play one game. He's on the team. But they say Tom Brady and the Patriots to emphasize that he's like the main guy, right? He's very, very, very important for the team. Now, the rest of the people on the team, he can't do it by himself, right? He can't do it by himself. The rest of the people are important, but he's the most important. So, similarly with us and God, God is not just going to come into our lives and magically make us into something completely different. Right? We need to cooperate with that. We need to open ourselves to it. We need to trust. We need to accept. But God is the one who's the more important and doing the heavy lifting. Now, last week, the focus was on meeting God in silence. Meeting God in those still places and just kind of experiencing God as God is. Just letting go of distractions, letting go of thoughts, letting go of our own ideas to just be and experience God. And that is a powerful thing. In silence, we open ourselves up to the God who's always there and kind of become more aware of his presence. But today, I want us to focus on a slightly different way, actually a very different way of experiencing God, because silence is not the only place where we meet God. Silence is not the only place where we recognize God. And then sometimes we need something different in order to inspire and encourage us. Because there's no magic method for relating to God. Because it is a relationship. It is a connection. God is personal. So just like there's no magic method to relate to another person, you might have ideas about some things that are smart, some things that open up space, some things that you might say that are going to be helpful, and some things that you might say that won't be helpful. We've all been there, done that. But there's no formula to it. It's a back and forth. It's an engagement. And so the truth is that we sometimes have trouble seeing our connection with God as a relationship because we can't see God. And I've heard people say, well, it's tough to have a relationship with somebody that you can't see. Somebody that you can't touch. How do we do that? And I would say to you that we do that all the time. Or at least we used to do that all the time. When I lived in Alaska, I would come back to the lower 48 once a year. So I would see my mother once a year. And you have to understand, this is back in the dark ages, before FaceTime and Skype. So we did not see each other for a whole year. And yeah, we talked on the phone, but the truth is the phone lines weren't that great in Shishmarab either, so we didn't do that a whole lot. How do we stay in contact? Well, I had memories, right? I could imagine. I could use my imagination to stay connected with her. I could think about her, I could pray for her, I could Think of things that we had done, think of things that she had said, and the connection was maintained when she did the same. I mean, that's the way that our minds work. We imagine and we see, and that evokes emotion and connection. That's the way that it works. I mean, and one of the amazing things about the way we human beings work is that this imagination, it works for the future as well as for the past. Right? The way that we live into a new future is that we start to imagine. We start to think about ourselves in that new job. We start to think about ourselves acting in a different way. We start to think about ourselves as actually getting up at 5 o'clock and going to the gym. But if we don't think about it, it's never going to happen. If we don't imagine it, it's never going to happen. And the thing about us human beings too is that whether it's about the past or the future, the imagination really helps us. It helps us interpret reality. It helps us really understand what's going on. You know, our imaginations are what move us, what actually propel us to change and to do things. You know, facts don't do that. Information doesn't make us do things differently. We cannot get enough information in order to make a change. And for example, on Monday, tomorrow after the big game, I might say, I was watching Super Bowl 53 at 7:37 p.m. last night. There's information, there's facts, there's precision, but I dare say that's different from we were in the middle of the second quarter last night, and I saw that ridiculous fumble. I jumped up out of my seat, I spilled my beer, and I yelled at the TV for 17 seconds. A little different, right? You could see that. Don't go there.
Don't go there.
But imagination is what we do all the time. And we use our imaginations to help us interpret reality, to help us make sense of the world so that we can get things done. And imagining the future can be very powerful. If we don't think about things, they're not going to happen, like I said. The sad thing is that we can also use our imagination negatively, right? Today, we can experience all the negative emotions of a calamity next year. We call it worry. We can do that. So how we use our imaginations really matters. And our imaginations are linked to our faith, too. And I know for us, that's not really something that we talk about a whole lot. You know, we Lutherans were kind of a heady bunch, right? Very intellectual, very fact-oriented. I mean, it probably didn't help that a bunch of us are Northern European, not exactly the most emotional people on the planet. But it's true, in our tradition, it's very, very head-oriented. But the scriptures are full of invitations to use our imagination to stimulate our faith. Like when we read in Paul's letter to the Philippians a little while ago, Paul writes, "Finally, beloved, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is beautiful, if there's any excellence, if there's anything worthy of praise, think about these things. Imagine these things." What does that mean? How can you think about something that's beautiful? You don't just think of the word beautiful on a blank page. You know, you're thinking of a sunset, you're thinking of a mountain, you're thinking of a person, you're thinking of a situation where things just came together in a way that glorified God. You're using your imagination. Paul's saying we do that, and that encourages us and sustains our faith. Jesus himself said, "It will be unto you according to your faith." And what he's saying is our faith, our trust in God's future, our trust that God will be in the future actually shapes what we see, actually enables us to see God in the present and in the future. But that's the way it works. And we know that there's truth in that. We know that we often see exactly what we expect to see. It's the old Ananias quote. We see things not as they are, but as we are. We see things as we are. Our framework, what we expect, our assumptions, our imaginations, really shape how we interpret the world. If you're somebody who's terribly afraid of flying, and every time you get on a plane, you're like, oh, these things crash all the time, there's always something wrong, you don't take care of them, you don't maintain them, there's always something wrong, these things crash all the time, and you look out the window and there's a piece of paint missing from the wing, boom, your eyes are right on that, saying, there's something wrong. Why does it look like that? There's something wrong. But if you're a person who gets on a plane and you're like, I've been on a plane all the time, nothing ever happens on planes. Planes are safer than cars, there's no problem. I'm envisioning myself getting off the plane in San Francisco. That's what I'm imagining. And I look out at the window, you don't even see anything. You don't even notice that missing spot. Because who we are, how we imagine, shapes what we see, shapes what we experience. And most of the time we do this subconsciously. We don't really think about it that much. Like a plane. Most of us don't think, oh, I'm going to imagine that this is going to be a good experience. And conversely, we don't imagine, oh, this is going to be a bad experience. It just kind of happens in the background. But it happens. And unfortunately, with our faith, it's sometimes like that too. It's unconscious. The imagination just works unconsciously, but we can tap into it consciously. We can tap into it consciously so that we can imagine that God really is here. That Jesus really is present. Now. And the thing is that's not fake. That's not fake. Because we believe that Jesus really is here, right? We believe that. We believe that Jesus isn't dead and buried somewhere in Palestine. Jesus is alive and here. And if we imagine it, if we visualize it, if we conceive it, that can support us. And see, the thing is we have a place in our tradition. We are gifted with a place in our tradition where we are invited to imagine Jesus really present. Because Jesus promised to be present. Whenever you break this bread and drink this cup, Jesus shows up. Jesus is there. That we can imagine that Jesus really is present with us. That Jesus really is feeding us. That Jesus really is sustaining us. That, the way this table is a half circle, that the reality is there's another half circle in the back. And it has all the saints around it that have gone before us. It has Jan Allison and George Chrysler and Paul Jabs. It has all those people all around it, and Jesus is there too. That's real. That's the promise that we have. And if we can imagine that, it can really be a blessing to us. You see, that's what happened to those disciples. Cleopas and the other disciple, they're walking along the road, and Jesus is walking along with them. Jesus, with whom they have spent days and days, years learning from him, saw him do miracles, heard him do his amazing teachings, and he's walking along, and he's explaining the Holy Scriptures to them, and they have no clue who he is. Because they cannot imagine that he's resurrected. They can't imagine it. But when he breaks the bread, their memories go back to that night, just a few nights ago, where he broke the bread. Their memories go back, and now they can imagine. Now they can imagine that he's really there. And they're strengthened and renewed and sustained. When we share at the table, when the bread is broken, may we be strengthened and renewed and sustained.